Coming up on today's Cleveland Browns Report, we're going to hit on the latest injury news, including Wyatt Teller, who is doubtful this Sunday against the Ravens, plus a new trade target that I have identified. I'm excited to share that with you guys. Plus, there has been a lot of buzz around D'Ernest Johnson going to the LA Rams. Matthew Peterson here with you guys, getting ready for a fun Browns Report. We're going to lift morale a little bit. Things are down in the dumps right now, 2-4, not where we wanted to be. But I want to throw this stat your way really quickly before we go any further. The Baltimore Ravens are 3-3, and they have blown 3 sizable leads, right? To the Dolphins late in the fourth quarter. They were killing the Dolphins. To the Bills at home. And also just a few days ago, 10 points at home against who else but the New York Giants. So, it's not too bad right now. Could be worse. But let's get started with the injury news here. Barry Kay from Cleveland.com reporting that Wyatt Teller says he'll sit out the Ravens game with his left calf strain. Good chance he'll miss Bengals game 2 based on him missing 3 games plus bye back in 2020 with a right calf strain. This one feels better, though. It's not Achilles. And then she had a link to her write-up. So it's interesting that Mary Kay says that Teller has essentially ruled himself out for this week and probably next week. Whereas Kevin Stefanski, according to Cameron Justice, hasn't gone all the way there yet, saying he is doubtful for Sunday. I wouldn't read too much into this, though. I just find it a little bit interesting that Mary Kay is saying, yep, Teller has decided to shut it down for the next week or two, while Stefanski hasn't ruled him out. It's still early in the week. Coaches like to do this. They like to say doubtful, but at the end of the day, we know Teller unlikely to go. And with that, let's look at the whole injury report before we start talking about who's going to play in place of Wyatt Teller. So, Amari Cooper today on Wednesday was off with rest along with Joel Bitonio. Jack Conklin did not practice with an ankle injury. Wyatt Teller, of course, with that calf. Backup offensive guard Joel Haeg with a concussion is out. Jadeveon Clowney, ankle and knee, did not practice. Myles Garrett with a shoulder. Now, I know he left Sunday's game with a shoulder injury. He is expecting to be able to play this Sunday, so don't worry about that too much. And then Denzel Ward, still dealing with a concussion. He, too, has not been cleared from concussion protocol. But Wyatt Teller is going to be sorely missed this upcoming Sunday and maybe even against the Bengals because he has been one of the best offensive guards in football, right? Pro Football Focus has him ranked tied for second best in the NFL, an overall grade of 85.3. We know this. Wyatt Teller is awesome. That's just a fact. He is one of the best guards in football. He is not replaceable. But I will say this. Froholt, who came in for Teller after he left on Sunday against the Pats, he did pretty well. The Danish King did a pretty good job stepping in there. So, in fact, we have his Pro Football Focus numbers from this past Sunday and really his whole grade overall in the season. 75.0. Not too shabby. I thought it might be Michael Dunn, maybe even Blake Hands that came in. But no, it is Yoholt Froda. I'm getting all turns around this guy's last name here. Froholt is going to be the likely starting right guard right there. Let's look at the depth chart right now because without him, without Wyatt Teller, maybe Drew Forbes, maybe Michael Dunn, Froholt, something like that. But no, I think it is going to be our Danish friend Froholt who starts at right guard. How many times have I said his name in the last 30 seconds? I think 300 times at least. All right. Let's salvage the rest of this video, shall we? Now, we're going to get to some trade rumors in just a moment. But first, there's a new feature. I really should say new. A feature that maybe some of you guys don't know about called Super Things. So if you're unable to join us during our live watch parties or our live show every single Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern, but you want to make a little bit of a donation to the channel, you like what you see, you can hit the Super Thanks icon down below. It's going to be right about here. It's got that little heart with the dollar sign in the middle. Click the thanks icon, select any amount you want, and you can be like Wade, HNT, and Ray Bidding, who have recently super chatted. You get on the show, you get a shout out, you can get your take on screen for all thousands of viewers we get here to see. So make sure you utilize this function if you would like to do so to support the show in more ways than just one. All right, to the trade stuff, right? Everyone loves talking about trades. D'Ernest Johnson to the Rams. This is a trade proposal we have seen for quite some time. I've kind of disregarded it the last couple of weeks because I've kind of gotten tasteless to it, right? We've seen it 1,000 times. Trade D'Ernest Johnson. We know this. But now it's starting to make more sense for the Rams, right? I mean, Sean McVay came out and said Cam Akers has basically taken his last snap for the Rams. And when you look at this running back room right now for LA, it's not good. Darrell Henderson is okay, but they could definitely use some more competition. Because once Cam Akers goes, it's Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown. So that's where D'Ernest Johnson looks pretty sexy. Now, we don't have much stats to look at this year for Johnson, but last year for the Browns, 100 carries, 534 yards. I mean, the guy averaged north of 5 yards per carry. That blows out Darrell Henderson or any other running back on this Rams roster at the moment. So while we don't have a huge sample size for Johnson, I wouldn't say the Rams would be wise to make the trade for him, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. But I do think they are a very big fish to look for that might be in the market for a running back like Johnson. So here's my trade idea. You're not going to get much for a third-string running back. That's just the way the NFL works. I hate to disappoint you, but if you were looking to get a lot for him, you're not going to like what you end up getting in return. So a 7th rounder coming back for D'Ernest Johnson. Truth be told, I'm the Rams. Why am I doing this trade, right? For a while, it was F them picks, and you got a ring, and it made sense. Now you're not looking all that close to winning a ring, and maybe you need some of these picks to begin a bit of a rebuild. So I don't think it makes a ton of sense for the Rams to be giving up any picks right now, especially for a running back, but I could see D'Ernest Johnson being on the move to the City of Angels. All right, so that's one trade idea. I want to know what your guys is, though. I'm going to call out Dion Owens of the group, right? All of my trade gurus out there who love to propose trade ideas. Let me know your best trade idea in the comments section below. Doesn't have to be for D'Ernest Johnson. It can be Daron Payne, Kareem Hunt, although I'm the captain of Keep Hunt in Cleveland. You get the gist. Give me your trade ideas down below. All right, coming up next here, I've got a new trade target to help save this defense. Guaranteed, money back on this free YouTube channel right now if this guy comes to Cleveland and doesn't turn things around immediately. But first, there is a great deal at Fanatics that's on sale, and I don't want you guys to miss out. So if you do not want to pay an arm and a leg to get a jersey, and I understand that, well, jerseys are kind of the new way to go. It's a t-shirt jersey, so you can get your favorite player and their number on the back without paying north of $100 for an NFL jersey. So get it today, chatsports.com/Browns shirt. I got that link in the comments and the description of today's show. Click on it, pick your favorite player, pick yourself. You can do nice and 69 as the number. I don't care. Just make sure you got Browns gear in style when you're in the Mooney lot this upcoming season. All right, the trade target, the mystery guy, it is Matt Ioannidis, a former Temple player who, with the Panthers this year, has been a solid contributor on their defense. It's really hard to say anything good about a Panthers player this year because they have been so bad, but he has not been the reason why they have lost a lot of games here. And there are lots of trade rumors right now for Ioannidis and really anyone on this Carolina roster, right? It feels like a complete yard sale. Everything is up for grabs here. So Ioannidis could be a good fit on this defensive line for the Cleveland Browns. When you look at his stats this season, 15 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and a sack. I know these are not sexy stats. And honestly, you're not going to find a defensive tackle with great numbers, right? There's no Aaron Donald walking through the door in Berea tomorrow. You're going to have to go find middle-of-the-pack guys that, with a change of scenery, could really up their game. Kind of like Melvin Ingram. Remember him last year with the Steelers? He sucked. Got traded to the Chiefs. He was awesome. So I could see maybe a change of scenery for someone like Ioannidis, who is with a poverty franchise like the Panthers right now, benefiting from a change and coming to Cleveland. Pro Football Focus, by the way, has him ranked as the 24th best interior defensive lineman. That's pretty good. It beats the hell out of Taven Bryan, Jordan Elliott, Perion Winfrey, and Jordan Elliott, and Tommy Togiai. I mean, when you look at the Browns' defensive tackle stats right now, we know these numbers are bad. We know these guys are not starting NFL material. Taven Bryan's the best of the bunch, and he is a fringe starter at best right now. Jordan Elliott's done. Winfrey's actually made some good strides, I felt like, the last few weeks. I've seen him come up on screen and make some plays here and there. Togi, I'm over with, right? I can't ever actually wrap my head around him being a 16-game starter, 17-game starter in the NFL. So at this point, I am full send on picking up the phone, making some calls, seeing who's out there, and for what price. Now, if teams want something the Browns can't offer, then unfortunately, the Browns aren't in a position to make a bunch of more trades. They've got 8 picks for this upcoming draft, but with no first-round pick, at least it's just me, the second rounder then feels like your first, and your third feels like your second, and everything slots up a little bit, and parting ways with a 5th rounder feels like it's got a bit more weight to it than a usual draft would here. All right, predict the score. Before we let you guys go, what are your score predictions? Ravens, Browns this week. Let me know in the comments section what you're thinking. Both teams right now are not where they wanted to be this year. So it really might just come down to who wants it more and which team is going to figure it out this week in practice, right? Which coaching staff and what locker room is going to get their shit together. And at this point, I think go either way. I know Harbaugh's got the edge over Stefanski. There's no doubt about that. Same for Lamar over Brissett. But, I mean, things are tough in Cleveland. But the Ravens, it's not even quiet. It is loud. They have been hot garbage this year in the NFL, blowing lead after lead. All right, we got our comment of the day. This one coming in from Matt the Cat 24. Personally, I think we should put Grant Delpit at linebacker and have D'Anthony Bell be the one at safety because I think Delpit would be a good linebacker. I know that's not traditionally his role, but he sucks at safety. So I don't think it's the worst idea, right? Delpit's best aspect of his game is when he comes up into the box and he blows up a running back behind the line of scrimmage. The worst part of his game is what he's actually paid to do, which is pass coverage. He's a little undersized to be a traditional linebacker, and I don't think he can do the Jamal Adams type of role of being a hybrid linebacker safety-esque. But at this point, I'm all for ideas. I don't think it's a bad idea right now for how bad this Browns defense is. All right, that's going to do it for us on today's show. Appreciate all of you guys for clicking onto it, making us a part of your day. Going to sign off. See you all later with more Browns news and rumors.